Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking, and today we are going to be talking about the Mercury and the Mars conjunction. So I've made actually a video about the Mercury Hygeia and Mars conjunction already, but that video was more about the Mercury and the Hygeia connection, a little bit flavored with Mars as well. But the reason why I wanted to make a video about Mercury and Mars conjunction separately, because actually it's going to be quite an important conjunction for multiple reasons. One of them is that there is going to be 3 conjunctions happening in the remaining year. So one of them is on the 18th of August, and we are going to be having one on the 9th of October, and then very lastly on the 10th of November as well. And then the very next conjunction between those 2 planets are going to be only on the 29th of October 2023. So they tend to be having approximately about a 2-year cycle. Now, another reason why I think this aspect is important, because Mercury is in a domicile and exalted position as well. And of course, Mercury feels extremely strong. And I would like to also mention that Mercury has just become an evening star recently. So if you're unsure how to check whether, you've got an evening star or not, try to put the sun, for instance, onto the descendant. And if Mercury is above the sun, then it's an evening star. And if it's underneath, then it's a morning star, actually. Okay, so that's how you can do that. And this shift just has happened recently. So this is what we're going to be talking about, how the Mercury-Mars conjunction in the sign of Virgo might be playing out. So if you like the video, press like, ring the notification bell. If you would like to have a reading with myself or Sweaty, then please go on AstroViktor.com and then book a session with us. And one more announcement to make. On the 18th of September, I will be starting a 3-week solar return chart webinar. It's going to be approximately about 12 hours. Well, I always schedule a certain amount of time and it becomes more anyway. So it's going to be between 12 to 14 hours, I reckon. It's going to be the most comprehensive on solar return chart, and then all the new discoveries will be shared on this class as well. So if you are interested, check it out also on my website. But without any further ado, let's jump right into this Mercury-Mars conjunction. So one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, because I went to the gym this morning to do some sport, Mars, and then I managed to kind of pull my muscle. And that's very much actually about Mercury-Mars conjunction in the sign of Virgo. That could be one of the manifestation of that. Now, if you think about that, Mercury rules over your shoulder, arms, and hands, fingers, and so forth. And then Mars is your muscle system. So the muscle of the arms, in my case, got pulled. Probably I wasn't doing the exercise properly, or actually maybe the weight was too heavy, but I really feel it. And I kind of finished the session and I wanted to go for even to do some cardio, but I kind of ran out of gas. So I had to come home and then kind of recharge the batteries a little bit. So therefore, I decided to make a video for you. Now, if you would like more on the depression part, I recommend listening to the Mercury Hygeia and Mars conjunction video, because you will be able to learn quite a lot from that. Now, so let's just have a look at what the keywords for these 2 planets are. Oh, by the way, another reason why I think this Mercury-Mars conjunction is important, because at the same time, we also have got the Sun and the Jupiter opposition as well happening, and it's on the same day also. But I will be making a separate video about that tomorrow. Oh, and then tomorrow I have to make a video about the Uranus retrograde as well. So I think visit the channel, come back to the channel tomorrow, because you might be having 2 videos for you. which might be very important. So let's just have a look at what these two planets represent and what are the possible manifestations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you keywords to Mercury, and then I'm going to try to match that up with the Marsian keywords. So Mercury is something to do with sales. So when we look at Mars, which is all about pushing something, so actually this is a brilliant time to push sales, to kind of figure out some marketing ideas, how to gain more sales. Because Mercury is the mind and Mars is kind of speed. So your brain can be quite unstoppable this time around, and you can have plenty of ideas. So grab a piece of paper and a pen and then write those down. And then if you have got a business, go out there and then start approaching those customers. Now, Mercury is also business negotiations as well. So actually, and Mars can represent a competitor in your life. So actually, it might be that you come to an agreement with a competitor, but you're gonna have to be very careful at the same time, because with these two together, your tongue can be quite sharp, quite edgy. So it's very possible to get into even arguments, debates over very little tiny things. Where does the little tiny thing come from? The Virgo element, right? Because Virgo rules the little everyday objects what we use on a regular basis. Mercury is your speech patterns. So with Mars this time around, actually, you might be speaking too fast, and then people are going to be like, you know, what is this person saying? I can't get a single word out of their speech. So that's also very possible. And the reason why, because we've got so much information in our head, which we want to share, but probably your mouth kind of becomes faster than all the information, how it pops into your head. Mercury is something to do with games, especially games which is related to like where you use your hands. So handball, wrestling, any type of code games really, which is a little bit of a back and forth type of energy. And Mars is very competitive as well. So it's very possible that you're going to be going on the beach and then you're going to do this volleyball thing. Or it's also very possible that you get into a physical fight with someone because the conversation just becomes very heated between two people. Mercury is also anything to do with travel. So short distance travel especially. So anything around highways, motorcycles, bikes, cars. And because Mars rules anything to do with accidents, this time around, we must be very careful. We can be more accident prone. We can even cut our fingers in the kitchen while we are doing our everyday activities. Or imagine that you go to the gym and then by accident, you drop a weight on your leg or on your foot. So all these type of accidents you're gonna have to watch out for. You know, for instance, Mars Mercury kind of could represent that speed bump on the roads as well. And then you might not be noticing that, and then something is going to be happening with your car. So Mars, which is very much about engineering, and Mercury is your transportation, it's very possible that your car is going to break down, and then you're going to have to take it to get it fixed. Okay, so, but also to prevent that, it might be a time to actually have a look at whether the insurance is paid on your car and so forth, or do you need to do any type of MOT, regular checks on your car? This could be a brilliant time for that. Mercury also rules over currencies. And Mars makes things very volatile. So we can actually see an increase in prices if you want to be exchanging your money. And it can be in a positive and it can be in a negative way as well. I mean, Mars feels a little bit frustrated Mercury is already strong, very strong. So I would say that the prices might be actually increasing quite a lot. Any type of flea market or marketplaces is also ruled by Mercury. So you might be seeing that people are pushing each other away because they want to be getting that bargain, and or Mercury is the news agent, and then you will be seeing that people are very impatient at the news agent because they want to get their magazine as fast as possible. You might be seeing that actually people are always on the go. They can't really sit down. It's kind of like a restless mind here. So you might be seeing in the office that people are walking around with their coffee and with their phone in their hand and then speaking to clients, for instance. These two together is very much about persuasion as well. And we, both planets are all about strategy. So Mercury is about kind of like gathering the information, and then Mars is actually very good at convincing others. So this could be a brilliant time if you want to get someone involved in doing something with you to try to convince them, because this is a very good cosmic energy for that. Also, Mercury rules gossips. So with Mars, it's very easy to share information with others, and then you can even get into trouble because of that. So just be mindful about it. Mercury also rules over brain, and Mars is something to do with surgeries. So these two together actually can indicate a successful surgery as well, on the hand, on the arms. Maybe you just need a couple of stitches. And on a more serious level, it could talk about brain surgery as well. Mercury loves making connections with others. So this time around, that Mercury with Mars being together is actually a little bit easier to make connections, or it might not be that easy, but you know, Mars never gives up. No, I want to speak to that person no matter what, and I'm going to be banging the door till someone actually answers to me, and then eventually they give up and then they start talking to you. So, as I mentioned, Mercury is something to do with flexibility, and Mars is sport activities. So you're gonna have to watch out for the flexibility of your muscles. So if you go to the gym, make sure you do some warm-up exercises. And at the end of each sessions, you are going to be actually doing some stretching your muscles, because it can become very stiff. So therefore, any type of acupuncture or massage therapy could be a very good remedy for this constellation. Also, Mercury is internet and gossip, so it's very possible that some very nasty type of rumor, for instance, is going to go around the internet. So take it with a pinch of salt. But also, when it comes to newspapers and magazines, you might be seeing more athletes, for instance, or sports people being on the cover of the magazines, or there is going to be a lot more news around sport activities, car racing, and all these type of things. Mercury also rules over your nervous system, as well as your respiratory system. So watch out, because we can become quite restless. Our brain can be running 24/7. We don't necessarily know when to stop. And then it leads to not having enough sleep. And then if we didn't sleep, then eventually it ends up becoming a little bit, you know, not necessarily thinking what type of word we choose, so we might become nasty with others. So these two together could be talking about swear words. Don't be shocked if people are going to be swearing around you a lot more than they usually do, because it's just somehow the anger leaves your body through words and communication and shouting and all those type of things. Also, when it comes to news, on internet, magazines, newspapers, it's very possible that you're going to be seeing some youth crime-related reports a little bit more in the upcoming 1-2 weeks. Mercury rules youth, and Mars is something to do with investigation, police-related matters, and overall the crime situation as well. Now, other things which I would like to mention, because Mercury is very technological and Mars is all about prying things up. It kind of wants to know the secret part of things. It wants to control stuff. So you can expect some type of cyber attack, or you can expect that someone is going to be trying to hack your computer, or you might see that your virus and antivirus program is not necessarily working together, or you might switch it off and then actually you shouldn't be switching that off. So on a global scale, it could talk about cybersecurity matters, anything to do with technology related, kind of like little accidents. That's also very possible. Mercury rules the messenger, so like Hermes, but if I think about the messengers on Facebook, right? Maybe actually that type of messenger is going to be crashing for a little while. So worth paying attention to that. Also, it's very possible this time around to become very witty and probably sarcastic as well. So as I mentioned, Mercury, Mars together has got quite a sharp tongue, but both planets are all about strategy. Both planets have got a very analytical mind. Mercury likes taking things apart because I have to kind of examine things, and Mars likes putting things together. So actually it's very good to do some type of DIY around your homes as well. And of course, if you do that together with someone, don't be shocked if, let's say, a Mercurian person is going to start questioning your expertise on it, because that's what Mercury loves the most. It questions everything around it. Also, watch out for any type of scams in the upcoming couple of weeks, because firstly, you know, Mars is aggressive and Mercury is sales. So the marketing strategy for some companies this time around might be about that aggressiveness. Like aggressive offer. So you might be seeing like, oh, it's 90% off, and then by the time you check out, it's actually just 10% off, and so forth. So there is also where the persuasion might be coming into the picture. But it's also very possible that someone is going to try to steal your idea, and then you become very frustrated, and then you kind of become like a lion, so you start roaring about it. Also, if you have got companies or, you know, any type of business, I would say that maybe the surveillance system needs to be checked around the Mars and Mercury conjunction, because it could go a slightly bit rocky. Okay. Yeah, so just something to be mindful about. Your mind can be very competitive, very energetic this time around, or you might be thinking about your survival mode continuously. So what to do to survive the next couple of years or the next 5 years, and so forth. Also, you know, just being a little bit funny, Mars is something to do with your sex drive, and Mercury are your hands. So you put that together the way you want to. But actually, that's a brilliant time to get to know your body a little bit more. Watch out for your temper. You can easily lose that. But, and it's due to, because I'm nervous. Brilliant time to do some type of new exercise regime. Remember that this conjunction happens in Earth signs, so it's kind of like a clean slate. It is very much about getting clean with something. So you might want to be organizing your bathroom or do some type of spring clean. And so forth. But from a company perspective, this is going to be a communication strategy. So let's change the newsletter, for instance, or let's send it on a different day. and so forth. On a higher scale, I do believe that this conjunction is all about figuring out what keeps you sane, especially if you have got some type of problems. Because the energy is very provocative around this time. And the only way you can actually manage that if you have got some self-awareness around you that, you know, you can become impulsive from time to time. And you're gonna have to kind of make peace with that. And this time around, if you have got any type of build-up anger or irritation going on, kind of there is no way out. It's gonna kind of pop out in the next 1 week. So to calm yourself down, maybe you can do solving some type of puzzles or doing some type of jigsaw. Mercury-Mars conjunction is very good for that, but actually it kind of calms your nerves down a little bit. Don't be shocked if you realize that you can't really sit down. You might be constantly on the move because you're actively trying to pursue your ideas. And probably being on the go is actually a very good idea for you this time around. So this is my interpretation of Mars and Mercury conjunction. So tomorrow I will be back with Sun-Jupiter opposition as well as the Uranus retrograde, which is probably going to be an hour lecture discovering what Uranus means, what type of aspect Uranus is making actually currently, and probably what house is Uranus also triggering your chart. So see you tomorrow and have a blessed day, everyone. Bye-bye.